FitcamX apparently liked my dash camera review so much they decided to send another one in for me to look at. This particular model is something I can use on my own car because it's the Universal model, and it comes with a 64GB micro SD card. The two plastic parts either side, you can extend those out, and one of them covers the cable. The rear camera, you have to get that when you order the unit, you can't add it later on. They do have a removable plate, but I would have changed the direction of that so you'd pull it forward to take it off. Two buttons on the side, one of them's for taking a snapshot and the LEDs. Construction feels pretty good overall, the plastics are quite solid. Now with this version I've gone for a fuse box fitting because the OBD isn't really an option on the car that I have. This is the main cable for connecting into the fuse box, and a shorter cable which connects it up to the main camera unit. With the fuse box option they give you a bunch of cables because there are obviously different types of fuses for different vehicles, and the grey fuses that are supplied are for the camera, so leave those in place. A couple of other items, a plastic tool and a memory card reader for micro and SD, and just like the custom one I looked at, they also give you a phone mount holder. They have two different types of design. I've gone for the one which goes around the mirror, so it shouldn't obscure anything from the driver's side because it's behind the mirror. There's also a hole there which I can use to fit the cable through. Now for the fitting on this car, it's really just a case of running the main long cable through from the fuse box up to the roof liner. You can run it down the rubber trim if you want, or of course you can take that off. As you can see, the OBD port's too close, so I'm going to have to go with a fuse fitting. I've already put the cable in on the roof liner, so I'll just run that through down to the side. This part came off quite easily, and they also have conveniently some clips in there which I can use to hold the cable in place. Once that was done, I ran it down the side of the plastic moulding on the dash. Then I pulled it through and it would go straight into the fuse box. Because I don't have a lot of space, I did take the glove box off. Then it's just a case of tidying some of the cables away, perhaps using some cable ties. Just to be on the safe side, disconnected the battery just to make sure we don't have any issues. You have a couple of options here with the fuse box. You can use a multimeter to check the voltage, or you can do what I did, go online and look up the fuse box diagram. With this car I'm going for F10 and F16. The trailer provides continuous power even with the engine off, and the front 12-volt socket for when the car is on. Just a case of taking out the old fuses and slotting them into the provided yellow and red cables. Then you'll need to connect the black cable to the chassis. All I did then was just attach it to the windscreen and plug in the cable, push that up through the roof liner. Overall look certainly looks better than a standalone dash camera, I think. To make sure I was getting power when the car was off, left it overnight and I just tapped the windscreen, and you'll see that the camera has come on and started recording. And I'll just give you a couple of quick shots inside the car. You can see that it doesn't obscure the driver's view at all. They do have two variations with that model and another one which is similar to a standard dash camera with a screen. They do have some measurements as well, so make sure you check that. Here's a look at the app, and it's very similar to the other FitcamX camera I looked at. You can get your live feed. You can also take a clip or a snapshot. If you press on the left icon, camera file, that will show you the recorded clips that you have. You have a separate folder for a snapshot and for the locked files when the camera has detected movement. And there's also a separate tab for the parking mode. If you go into the camera settings, I'll just show you that briefly. Options for sound recording, there are 3 resolutions with this version. You have about 5 hours recording with the 4K on a 64GB card. You can also pick the clip length. I've left the collision sensor on low, I found that to be fine. You can experiment with that. And the parking guard, you can turn that off if you wish. Nothing else to see much other than the formatting and the firmware. For some reason there's no wide dynamic range option, but the output from the camera looks pretty much identical to the other one I looked at recently. And I'm just showing the playback here. You can of course turn it into the horizontal if you need to. The odd time it does buffer, but mostly the performance has been pretty good. Also possible to adjust the clip speed. You'll be able to take snapshots and share those files as well. Simple enough in terms of the overall user interface. Wouldn't mind a few more options in the settings menu. And I'll finish off the video with a few thoughts whilst I'm showing you some of the footage. It's the same sensor and hardware as the custom unit, so the image quality is pretty good overall. I would call it, as I did with that model, a decent mid-range performance. Sometimes you can clip the highlights a bit. I wouldn't mind a few options to adjust the image output. Perhaps the contrast could be reduced. Probably not a problem for a dash camera because you're going to be looking at the footage on the road. It took me about an hour and a half to fit this. I wasn't rushing. Take your time. You don't want to snap bits off your car if you can avoid it. I do have a polarizing filter which the company sent, so I'll be looking at that in a separate video. You'll see we do have some reflections on the screen. You can still see enough details and car registrations, but yeah, you can sometimes get reflections causing a problem. Sometimes you can see some grain in areas in the sky, bit of noise at times, but other than that, I think it's a good enough performance for the price point. If you've got a 10-year-old car, you're not going to spend $500 or $600 on a dash camera. I wouldn't personally. The price seems to be reasonably competitive overall. If you've got any thoughts on this or any questions, do drop a comment below. Be interested to hear your thoughts. I'll be looking at some more products shortly, so do stick around for that. And as usual, thanks for watching.